Let's talk about access control. So whenever you design in a class, it's important to think about how much of it you'll be exposing to the world. And this idea in OO in general is called encapsulation, that you try to hide the internal representation of an object, and this way if you decide to change it later, you can. Ruby has three levels of access control: public, protected, and private. And these are similar to how Java does it, but a little bit different, as we're going to see. So public methods have no access control, which means that for public methods, anybody can call these methods, and this is the default. Methods in Ruby are public. The exception is we initialize the constructor method, which is private. So you could do that the new method is public, and the new under the hood calls initialize, but you cannot yourself call that initialize and initialize the class that way. Methods could also be protected, which means that they can be invoked only by the objects of a defined class or its subclasses. And methods could be private, which means that they cannot be invoked with an explicit receiver, which means you cannot say something something dot method name. You can never do that with a private method. Private method is you could only say the name of a method and call it that way. You cannot say something dot method name. Now there are two ways to specify the access control. You could either say public protected to private, and then everything until the next access control keyword will be of that access control level. Or you could define the methods regularly and then just specify public, private, protected access levels and list comma-separated method names under those levels. So let's see what that means. Let's say you have a class called myAlgorithm. So in this case, test1 is private, and then until the next access control, which is protected, so test2 is going to be protected. And you can have multiple methods here between protected and public, in the same way between private and protected. And then public again, you're basically saying that public again method is now public because you have a public keyword. Or what you could do is you could have a regular class, regular methods, and then at the end of a class, or in the beginning, anywhere you're in the class, say private, and then list the method signature, the method name. So : test1 in this case.